So my topic tonight is embrace the mega trend of digital health from hospital to home, from chips to solutions, combining the strength of ICT and the medical service industries. All right. First, I'm stealing a lot of data and borrowing a lot of statistics from the internet. So this is the world population forecast all the way to the 22nd centuries, right? So while you see the blue portion, the population is going up all the way up to now, it's probably 6-something billion up to 7 billion, currently all the way to 11 billion. That means we have more and more people in the world. That's why food are in shortage. That's why the global climate change is actually hurting a lot of things because people are keep growing. While the birth rate are dropping, right? You see the red line here. It stands for annual growth rate of the world population, right? So we have more people to come. That means we need more food. We need more medical service. We need to take care of people. And another dimension is that life expectancy is getting higher and higher. You can see all the number here from different geographical areas, Africa, Asia, Europe, Oceania, Americas, wherever. You see, no matter where people are, the average age, life expectancy are growing up to 80s level, and then it's growing still. That means we have more people. Aging is a big issue. There are more people need to be taken care with a much longer life. The problem are here to solve. And why this matters? This is something that I'm familiar. This is Moore's Law. I worked for the company that invented the Moore's Law for 12 years. So I worked for Intel before. So I know this very well. So Moore's Law says the number of transistors on a printed circuit board doubled every 18 to 24 months. That means computing power doubled every 2 years. Think about that. What if your engine power doubled every 2 years, right? It's going to drive much, much faster, right? So you see the phenomenal growth of the transistor be able to print it on, to be embedded on the printed circuit board all the way from the 70s to nowadays. That actually, just think about the computer that you have, the big bulky box that you have 20 years ago. How big? When was that? Say it's 2016 today. It was 1996, 20 years ago. See, this is the number of transistors that you have on your CPU back then, right? 10 million. Now what? It's, how to read this? 20,000 million. Is that correct? Right. 20 billion. Is it? 20 billion. Yes. So, see, how many times? 10x, 20x, no, 200x. 200x powerful than 20 years before. And why this matters? And why this matters between the IT industry and the medical industry? Let me guess what is my following page. This is it. Okay, the world has been accelerated. You see the major change in the human civilization being accelerated, right? You see agricultural revolution, it took 8,000 years to industry revolution. And then it take another 120 years for Edison to invent a light bulb, right? And then it take another 90 years for people to go up to the moon. Another 22 years for World Wide Web and 9 years for human genome sequence. Right? That's something you guys know well, right? That's something I don't know. But all this are happening because of a what? Because of a computerization. Because of a computer, right? This was mechanical computer that invented in the 19th centuries, the early 19th centuries, right? The 20th centuries. And then step by step, it's replaced by electronic components from vacuum tube to transistor to integrated circuit, all the way up that accelerate the road And nowadays, right, the computers already surpass the brain power of a mouse. It's already. And then computers are expected to surpass brain power of an individual in 2023. That means within 7 years, a computer is going to be smarter than you and I. Even your National Taiwan University graduate. Doesn't matter.
Maybe not.
Maybe you're smarter. Okay, let's talk about average person. But anyway, it's going to surpass you and me anyway, right? And then, by 2045, right, computer is going to surpass brain power equivalent of that of all human brains combined. Incredible! How old will I, if I still, I'm still alive now, how old I will be? 2045. So, yet 80, right? Scary. It's actually from a book called Singularity, a guy called Kurzweil. Kurzweil is very famous, and his Singularity book is also famous. It's very interesting. We're not talking about singularity today, but I just want to share with you by borrowing his chart, right, to tell you how fast the world is changing. Now, the world is changing in this area as well. This is something you guys know well too. And why this has been accelerated, right? There's a human genome project that introduced by, I think, the American government, and then through the cooperation with the international communities. So Germany, France, Japan, and a lot of countries are joining this. Actually, the total expenditure of this project is up to $3 billion US, and it took 13 years for the human genome sequencing. But actually, it ended up drive the cost per genome at a very, very cheap level. And all these are done by what? Are done by Moore's law, and even more aggressive. So people try to figure out the correlations between the human genome sequencing and the Moore's law, because as I said earlier, Moore's law gives you computing power doubled every 24 months, right? So by adding the computer power, the very complicated and the huge data that amount or inside of the human genome sequencing can be kind of easily done, right, through computerization. So earlier forecast that the cost per genome sequencing per genome is going to decrease, follow the trend of Moore's law. But something happened during the 2006 or 2007 time frame. I didn't know what. Probably you guys know better. But it's actually dropped in a very, 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 very significant way. Okay, so this is the data from NIH that I pull out and share with you. So you see, interestingly, people already put what are so famous and familiar in my industry together with the medical service in the medical service area. Then, why Taiwan? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Why Taiwan matters? So Taiwan has been doing very, very well in producing lots of components, products in the global ICT area. Although this publication was, done in 2005, still, the solid foundation, as I said in the beginning, the solid foundations that we built from the past 4 decades are still a very good things for the medical service players in the global medical service go-to market globally. Because the ICT industry in the past several decades, not only will we be able to do the very cost-effective mass productions, there's also global logistics. There are also productization know-hows. There's also branch offices plus service spots around the world that Taiwan has built. That's why Business Week published that, and there's actually a long article talking about why Taiwan matters back to 2005, that the foundation we're still leveraging in trying to work with people from different verticals for the productization, for the product globalization. Okay, so that gives us huge opportunities. So you see the powerful marriage that I showed you earlier, that combining the medical know-how plus computerization, computing powers, this made a very powerful marriage. And tonight, we have more powerful marriage to share by our following speakers. So that's my speech. Thank you.